Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DADCAW for the day of the 27th of May. It's 7:31 in the evening. It's a Wednesday. Holy shit, is it hot? That is the first thing I will say. A lot of heat. Taking a lot of heat here, and it's not from mongoloids who are emailing me. It's not from angry commenters calling me Jay Barino. It's just from dealing with the fucking weather, man. Holy moly. But that has not slowed down our productivity, and I hope it will continue to fail to prevent me from being who I am. You see? You understand? So, today's DADCAW is going to be discussing just the bit of productive stint that I've had. Obviously, we're still going strong in the mod stream streak that started on the 3rd of November, 2020. And other than that, we've been working on some other content. I feel pretty confident in saying that despite the shitty quality of the campaign that I've been playing lately, the experience of trying to up the quality of my commentary that experiment has been successful. The experience of doing it has been rewarding. There's been a lot to like about that, actually. And so in that vein, I'm quite pleased. And so, excuse me, I'm hoping that what we will be able to do beyond that is continue that sort of evolution. We are running out of content to play that's any degree of noteworthy, which is why I'm mostly skipping shit that's not of interest. Unfortunately, I already said that I would play this entire campaign, which is pretty disastrous, because it is a campaign that I probably would have skipped, at least after the second video, if not the first. But we are done with the Zerg campaign for that, so we'll just move on to the Terran and eventually Protoss, and hopefully it won't take that long. So that has been my experience. That all being said, the map review thing is a bit of a revelation. The idea that one of the issues I've always had with commentating is I'm trying to concentrate on the game and also talk about how I'm feeling about the product that I'm playing. And I can't ever really take stock of the situation after the fact to the same degree of clarity that I have with looking at the map in an editor. So that's like one of the advantages of having the ability to walk through the level, basically, but in an editor view. And something that's pretty localized to StarCraft. I can't imagine doing that for any other game that I would be playing and then like stopping and running through the whole level or whatever, unless it came with some sort of ability to do that. Like I know the console commands in Counter-Strike fairly well. So if there was like a single player mission in that or something, then maybe I could talk about like, oh yeah, when you go here and the enemies spawn in or whatever, that's pretty annoying. But trying to do that in the Hammer level editor, I imagine would be really annoying really quickly. So there's not really much of a comparison that you can draw. It's just very localized to the experience of playing StarCraft custom content and being able to provide some sort of commentary after the fact. But the fact that I'm able to offload a lot of the in-the-moment work, and I just need to talk about what's actually happening right now, what my next move is, and why, and what I'm thinking about as I'm playing, and of course, there's going to be some analysis mixed in with that, but it's going to be a bit more speculative, a bit more like, well, if that's the case, then this is maybe what I think of that or whatever. It's going to be a bit more like that and a bit less authoritative, a bit less learned, a bit less understanding, and a bit less retrospective. And as a result, it will offer less value overall. So one of the benefits of doing this editor review stuff is that I can kind of stop trying to make authoritative claims unless I've already been proven and I'm like referencing those proven claims before. Some cases like that do crop up, holy shit, every now and then. So that happens, and that will continue to happen. But certainly one of the benefits that I've been able to reap is I think evident in the commentary of that video just by itself. It's that I'm able to focus more on the in-the-moment stuff and as a result provide better commentary in general. And then after the fact, I can go into detail like I like to, and people can just skip that shit if they don't like it. So completely reasonable, I think, and a worthy improvement in that sense. Otherwise, not really a whole lot to say, I suppose. A fairly straightforward production of upping the ante when it comes to my commentary. I did release that by design video this week. That was pretty impactful. And I talked about this on a mod stream, but that almost never got released. Well, not really never, but the longer that you don't release something that you started working on, assuming you're not working on it at all, like I basically did all of the work on that when it comes to the script in a day, like across like 2 or 3 hours of work, just writing the script and then revising it a little bit. And then I was like, all right, tomorrow I can like revise that again and maybe record it even that day. And then tomorrow turned into a week later. So that's one of those things where unfortunately it did take as long as it did, but I'm happy that I was able to eventually finish it. And it was definitely something that was personally held a lot of significance to me. And I hope that people are able to find it useful. So with that all said, where do I come down now on the overall topic of productivity and keeping productive despite environmental resistances? That is basically what we're at this point, because the heat wave is so detrimental. It's adding an extra layer of annoyance, an extra layer of discomfort, basically just an extra factor that's working against your ability to remain focused and remain motivated. Obviously, this isn't affecting everybody. People south of the equator are experiencing winter instead, which brings its own kinds of challenges. But winter itself also provides like a seasonal depression almost. I'm noticing that just because it is sunnier outside, I feel better. And maybe that's also because I've been upping my vitamin D lately anyway, because I've been told that that's a really good idea. So I decided to do that. But yeah, and just in general, it feels way better to exist within the summer when it comes to like my motivation, my happiness, until you hit too far into the heat area, and then I just start dying of heat stroke, and it's not very fun whatsoever. That all being said, there's still a fair argument in favor of, just understanding where you have some personal issues with the heat or the cold or whatever. Just trying to avoid that as possible, triage that as well as possible. And that's basically all I can provide as far as advice goes. It's just something that you have to have some faith that this too shall pass, and that you'll be able to mess around with stuff. With any luck, you'll find some way to make the experience more in the moment, tolerable, and that will be enough, in theory, to stop you from losing your mind completely. Because all you're trying to do is maintain your level. If you're facing some sort of hardship, maintain of it, as much of it as possible. So if you are normally doing, one stream a day, and every so often you would do a couple videos, like try to maintain that form. Try to stick to the one stream a day. Try to stick to like a video every other day or whatever you were doing. Try to stick to, X number of minutes. Like get a routine, try to stick to it, because that will give you some sort of strength. It's actually kind of a different topic altogether, but it's interesting how when we have more choices, like after a certain point, a larger number of choices prevents us from making a choice, and we just leave. Like it's hard for us to commit to one choice. And as a result, it's like when you pick out your outfit for, wearing to work or whatever tomorrow morning, you pick it out the previous night, suddenly it's a lot easier to get dressed because you know what you're wearing because you already picked it out. It's like if you already make a decision, you just stick to it. It's a lot easier for you to stick with stuff. It's a lot easier for you to remain consistent. And that's one of the benefits of having a schedule or of having some sort of pipeline that you constantly go back to. That's one of the major benefits of that. And that's one of those things that's pretty much the main piece of advice I can provide in that context. That's what I'm going to be trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do now, is stick to a schedule, try to make sure that I get these videos out. And so far we've been successful. This is going to be the third piece of video content this day, on the very day that this is being recorded. And that is going to be the third day in a row where I've put out 3 pieces of content, the first of which being my stream and the other 2 being videos. Now, obviously the by design video was a bit more impactful or whatever. That was personally more significant to me. Then you had the Zerg expansion videos, which were much longer than the CSGO map analysis video. And then you had the podcast, which is much longer than this video. So it's not like all the content is created equal, but the content that I've put out this week so far has met my expectations of quality. It has provided some sort of value. Well, maybe the podcast was a little too stupid for that, but even within the podcast, there were some sprinklings of value there, and hopefully it was at least funny enough to listen to that wasn't super frustrating as a result. Though I make no guarantees. If you haven't already listened to it and you plan to, do not sue me, please. But bless me. So that's basically where we're at, man. We're just trying to maintain our form, trying to maintain our motivation, trying to keep it up and stick with our schedule. If you don't already have a schedule, it's a pretty good time to make one when you're dealing with stupid environmental shit like this. Whereas at least you know, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how stupid the environmental stuff ends up being, what you can do is look at your schedule, say, I need to get X, Y, and Z done. And it would be great if I got on top of that, get A, B, and C done afterwards. But at least let me get X, Y, and Z done. Now I know what I'm doing. You take away the opportunity for you to even linger on the thought of committing to an idea or an action or a task that's on your list, because you've already decided, you've already made the decision beforehand, hey, this is what I need to get done today. This is what I need to get done at this point. And that's one of the sort of unseen benefits of doing what I do all the time, every single day, which is I actually record audio logs at the end of every night where I talk about, here's how I feel about how today happened. So there's some reflection, some mindfulness, some analysis. And then here's what I want to do tomorrow and how that's going to reflect on my projects and all that stuff. This is what I want, this kind of progress I want to get to. These are the kind of things that I want to focus on. Sometimes it's a bit more ironclad. Sometimes it's a bit more free form, but I always have some idea of what I'm doing. And even beyond the audio logs that I'm recording, I always have some idea of what I'm doing because every single day I'm streaming. So whatever it is that you are chasing, whatever it is that you want to get done, being able to say that every single day that you have a plan, you have some tasks that you can do that will get you closer to whatever your end goal appears to be, that you at least think that will be the case, that they will get closer. That's the kind of shit that will really help you in these times where you're dealing with more stupid shit than normal, like a lot of environmental stuff or this coronavirus pandemic shit, or literally anything that could be adding some sort of external stress that you can't control. The idea being just focus on what you can control. Here's what I can do, and try to do as much of what you can do as you can. It's I really like the analogy or the conceptualization of tasks as like items in a folder. You're trying to move items from the folder of I have to do this to I have done this. Like there's two folders there, right? It's like as many items as I can move per day, the better things will be, generally speaking. Now, obviously, that's not the case for all days. You need to balance your time. You need to make sure that you're not burning out and all that. But assuming you can manage to do that, then you're getting somewhere. And so that conceptualization, that analogy, is pretty useful for me to figure out how I feel about certain things. Whether or not it will be useful for you, well, you can tell me in the comments below. That will do it for our DADCAW today. Stay regular. Stay consistent. Stay disciplined. What is that Jocko Willink shit? It's like reload, re-engage, re-engineer. I don't know. You know what word I want to say. Rewind this video and watch it again. Ha ha! Bye.